Today on Geek Devotions, we talk about the Alien franchise and legacy. Hello, Devoted Geeks. Welcome to Geek Devotions, a show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting people know that they're loved. I'm Dallas. I'm so glad that you've hit the play button today. If you're new to our show, we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, and comic books, and we use them to let people know that they're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment right here, right now, know this. We love you. We appreciate you. And there is hope for you. Okay? That being said, recently Celeste and I had a few days off, and Celeste and I's decompression is sit down and binge an entire film franchise. That's just kind of what we've done. We've done it several times over the last several years, and it's a great time for us. Just being honest with you guys, we just love movies. And so this time frame, I asked Celeste what she wanted to do, and she wanted to do Aliens? That's right, Aliens, the alien xenomorphs. I'm out of the chest and freaking out everybody. Yeah, that show is what she wanted to watch. I was like, okay, cool, let's do it. Let's watch Aliens. But we didn't just watch Aliens, starting with the classic with Ripley and space on LV-246. I think that's the right numbers for it. But we didn't just start with there. No, we went all the way back. And by all the way back, I meant newer movies that were actually prequels, but nobody knew it was a prequel at first until the very end. It was weird. That's right, we started with Prometheus, and we worked our way all the way up through Alien Resurrection, which I'm so sorry. And if you want our full thoughts on all those things, we have a podcast coming out here in a few weeks where we talk about the entire Alien franchise, but that's a conversation for another day. No, today, though, we're talking about something interesting because as we're watching the movie, I couldn't help but think, and this is something that Celeste and I really started discussing, is that to be perfectly honest, the terror that takes place in Alien 2, Alien Cubed, I don't know, but in all these other movies, it boils down to one thing. It's a poor legacy of a singular man. To be perfectly honest, the destruction that you see taking place is because one man's decisions had lasting effects for generations. The way that he treated his son, David, and I put this like this because he's an android, led David to do some crazy stuff that really kicked off all this crazy stuff that you see. I'm trying not to give spoilers, but wow, this is an interesting series. But really, it all goes back down to Weyland. It's his fault. It's his legacy that he's left out there for the world to suffer. And it's sad. His one decision to treat people and to have a singular mindset that he does has affected generations of people. And it got me thinking about the effects that we have on society around us. Now, whereas Weyland was a negative example, we don't have to be. Our actions don't have to be don't have to have a negative impact for generations to come. They can have a lasting impact. They can make changes in people's lives that are for the better. In Jeremiah chapter 35, there's a really interesting story that takes place where Jeremiah is told to pull out the Rechabites, the sons of Jonadab, and to take them into this place and send them down for a banquet and to present them with wine to drink and say, here, drink of this wine. But what's interesting is the sons of Jonadab, the Rechabites, don't. They stop, they go, we can't do this. We cannot drink of this wine because our father, Jonadab, generations back, said, hey, I don't want you guys drinking any wine. And he laid out several things that he didn't want them to do. But in the context, they specifically point out the fact that, hey, we're not supposed to drink this. And in that moment, God used it as an illustration to the people of Israel about obeying him and not obeying and all this sort of stuff. But what's interesting is that as God finishes dealing with his people, he has the prophet turn back to the sons of Jonadab and say this, hey, because you have honored the legacy, I'm paraphrasing here, honored the legacy that's given to you, for the future, meaning to this day, there will always be a son of Jonadab, a Rechabite, to stand before the Lord. That's right, right now, in this present time and place. I'm filming this in 2020. I don't know when you're watching this video, but at this moment, there is a son of Jonadab who still walks the planet. A legacy left behind because they were obeying the orders and instructions given to them by their father. So we have multiple layers of legacies being passed down. A commandment given and a commandment obeyed, leading to everlasting life of an entire family. To me, that's awesome. That's a really neat thing. And I think that's something that we need to keep in mind, that your actions, the things you say, yes, there can be negative stuff, but there could be lasting things. It could be that generations from now, there will be a child that's born and they go, Mom, Dad, why do we do certain things? Why do we live in this fashion? Why do we think about how we care for people and how we treat people? And they go, well, you see, son, generations back, we had a great-great-grandfather who said, for us in our house, we will serve the Lord. We will do these things. And we shall treat people with respect. We shall love others. We shall love others as we love the Lord. And we've strived to do that, and the Lord's blessed us for it. And that little boy, generations from now, goes, wow, I didn't realize that. And they continue on carrying the legacy passed on. So my encouragement for you guys is this today. In every actions that you have, every interaction you have with people, everything you do and say, think about the lasting impact. How will it affect others, for the good and for the bad? If there's something that you're doing that really is just wrong, make a change. Make a change today. You don't have to do that. You don't have to make decisions that have negative impacts. You can make decisions today that have lasting positive impacts. Now, those decisions may not be popular, just being honest. May not be something that everyone's really happy with, but the lasting impact will bring life. So that's my encouragement for you guys. Well, guys, that is your episode for the week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're encouraged by it. I hope it's challenged you. Question of the week for you, though. For Celeste and I's next big franchise binge, what series of movies do you think Celeste and I should watch? Leave comments down below. Let us know. Also, do us a favor. Are you living out a legacy that somebody's passed down to you, a positive one? That somebody has like, hey, this is how we're doing things, and you're doing that? Let us know. We want to hear these cool testimonies about how you're living a legacy of health and hope because of something that was passed down to you. And I also want to hear about how you're passing down your own legacy of hope. Earlier I mentioned our podcast. Don't forget to check that out. Just look for Comm Talk by Geek Devotions. We had to make some changes because for some reason our old feed is still there. We can't get it out of the way. So when you're looking it up, hopefully, there will be our logo there and it'll say Comm Talk 2.0. If you don't see it, go in there because not all the podcast catchers are finished updating. Go in there and look at it. The most recent episode as of today is episode 71, where Celeste talks about Star Girl. So make sure you guys check that out. It's a really great episode. And let us know your thoughts on our podcast. Don't forget to check out all of our stuff. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to check out our website, geekdevotions.com. And so until next week, remember, stay devoted, peace, and love.